right. So I guess first question I'll ask you guys is, after the matchup against Georgia Gwinnett College, having that one, what were the feelings after that matchup, and especially now you get a little bit of a smaller break before you guys head into LaGrange?
Gwinnett College was a really good team, and I felt like it was a good matchup for us to play against. And I felt like we fought really hard in that game. So I feel like going from that and moving on to our next game, like I feel like we're going to be pretty prepared to play LaGrange. So
Yeah, I agree. I think that Gwinnett is definitely a better team than we'll play in our conference, so that really set the standards pretty high for us. Um, I thought we played. I thought we played really well. Like disregarding the score, I thought we played very well. We played possession, but I think that was a good stepping stone to know like what we're gonna get into when we do end up playing Center and Rhodes and Swanee.
How important is it to have games like that in your non-conference schedule to help you guys get ready for some of the tough opponents you'll face in conference?
I feel like it's really important because, like Kenzie said, Gwinnett College was definitely one of the better teams that we're going to play all season. And it's important because we know, like, we can actually play against that team. I mean, we did score first in that game. And I feel like 3-1 wasn't like, it doesn't really show how well we played in that game. We played really well and we played really good together. And I feel like that was one of the better games that we played. We played really hard. And moving on from that, we know that we can play against a team like that that's that good. So going to like Center, I feel like it gives us some confidence in that.
Yeah, definitely boosts our confidence a lot. I don't think the score justified how we played. Like I don't think it doesn't really make sense. Like that game, it shouldn't have been 3, but we played a lot better than the score showed. Um, but yeah, I think it's important to play these really hard games before conference, just so we can kind of get a groove of who's gonna play where, how we can like kind of intertwine together and play as like a team and like play smooth, possessional, quick, before the games like actually matter. So I think those are important.
Yeah, and I mean, I talked to you guys a little bit in preseason. We talked about how close you guys are as a group and how this is like one of the closest I think you guys have been in a while, especially with just the team chemistry. How have you really seen it blossom, not only off the field, but also now on the field after getting a lot of good results under your belt?
I would say I think I can only really speak for myself, but like I think I can tell that people are getting more comfortable making mistakes and not kind of like holding back because we all make them, whether they're small or big. So I think that is a big aspect, especially just like in practice. Like let it all out there. Try new things there. Like mess up there. Like that's fine. Like that our team should be comfortable enough to do that. And then when we get in the game, no one like we're not gonna get mad at you because we all do it. We just turn back around, win it back, and start over. Do it again. But yeah, I would say us being that close and like it's just like one big friend group, not like cliques, makes it easier to be comfortable in that kind of sense.
Yeah, I completely agree with Ken's. Everyone's starting to try new things and getting more comfortable with each other. And I think what makes it so good too is that we pick each other up also. So if you make that mistake, someone's telling you, oh, good try, that was good. So no one's putting each other down on the field either.
I feel like it's interesting talking about mistakes that can be made, and a lot of people always say you have to make mistakes in order to learn and grow. It's interesting, especially when it comes to a sport like soccer. Like a mistake can somewhat define a game, but how do you find that balance? And hey, there's a mistake that's made. How do you guys as leaders on the team kind of help them learn from it, but also, like you mentioned, not be upset, but also help them learn and help them grow? That way they don't make that same mistake again.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely easier said than done to just kind of like act like that didn't happen. Um, I'm one example. I'm pretty hard on myself, and you have to get over it really quick. You got to recover. You got to, like, because no one's dwelling on it. Even though it seems like people are dwelling on the mistake, nobody is. We're moving on to the next play. So I feel like as leaders and, like, upperclassmen, if we show that we can, like, it happens, throw it away, forget about it, don't dwell on it, and just do better, or not do better, but, like, fix the mistake, and, like, recover. And then if you do something bad and then 10 seconds later you do something amazing that could make the game, like, no one's thinking about that mistake. Yeah. So I think if we can show that, then they can, like, kind of bounce off that.
Yeah, I completely agree with Ken's. Just kind of shaking it off and moving on to the next play, that's really important. And then also making sure if someone else makes a mistake, telling them it's all right, and then keep moving, like, not to worry about it. It's good not to, if you're another player on the field and someone makes a mistake, it's good not to target that, because most of the time they know, and it's good to just keep them up, and I think that helps too.
Yeah.
I know you guys have mentioned it a little bit, especially in these couple of games. You really feel like you guys have found your identity and how you guys want to play. How has it evolved in anything that you guys might have talked about maybe earlier on in preseason and heading in now into a little bit further in? Has that sort of evolved for you guys? And have you guys still are noticing that identity and how you guys want to play is really starting to stick with a lot of the new players that are coming in?
Yeah, that's really growing. I think the way that we scored in the Gwinnett game, that really showed it's keeping possession. We're really getting used to that, and we're doing pretty good in that. But keeping possession and then playing with everyone on the field, like, we're starting to not dribble as much too, and just playing with everybody on the field. There's always times where you can dribble, but I feel like we're definitely playing with each other more, and we're moving really well from the back to the front to the middle, all of that. So,
yeah, I agree. Our coach also says a lot to let the ball do the work, and I think for a while it took our team, like, as a whole, to, like, really understand what he means by that. But like she said, like, we're kind of not dribbling as much. We're finding feet, letting the ball do the work. Don't just chase around, run around. I think we've evolved a lot from day one, and it's really hasn't even been that long. So I think that's good for us that we can evolve that quick, because we don't have that much time before conference starts anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, would you say that? Because, I mean, I was looking at the calendar today and I was like, I can't believe we're almost done with September. Like,
I know, it's crazy.
But I mean, looking at this next matchup for you guys, it's another away game for you at LaGrange College. What has it been like scouting them and getting to know how they play heading into that match? You got a little bit of time after that Georgia Gwinnett game to get to kind of see them. What have you seen from them early on?
We are still waiting to receive the film on them, but from past experiences, they are a very, very physical team. So I think we just have to be ready with that. And then if we're physical back and also bring the technicality aspect of it, I think we'll be fine. I believe solely that we'll be fine in that game.
I agree with that. I think if we play quick possession, we can kind of get around that. Really, like Ken said, they are very physical. They kind of go body to body more than using their technical skills. So I think us playing quicker possession, I think that'll be good too.
Yeah, I think we can just ping it around them.
I agree.
I think we got that.
Yeah.
How difficult is it to go against an opponent that plays that way? Because you're seeing a couple of other teams, I feel like, adapt to that side of the way you play a little bit more than the technicality, maybe adding it a little bit more like a mix. But how do you go against a team like that and come out on top? Because it can be really, really difficult, especially with emotions and how physical it can be.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. Unfortunately, the ref does play a big aspect in that, just because they call everything. And if they're calling it one way and not the other, it gets irritating. But without the ref in the picture, you do kind of have to change the way you play, like, in the middle of the game. Like, you're realizing that they're gonna be aggressive. They're not even gonna play the ball. They're gonna play you. So you kind of gotta switch the way you're playing and play a little bit smarter. try and find their weaknesses. Because if they're playing your body, then they can't stop you with the ball. That's kind of usually the pattern that I picked up. Try to let them foul you. Try to get the foul, draw the foul. Yeah, I personally like the games that are pretty aggressive because it gets heated, and I think it kind of like amps me up a little bit. I don't know about the rest of the team, but yeah.
Yeah, it definitely amps me up too. But playing quick, that's really important for games like that because normally they're not very technical. They're not as quick, not as smart on the field either. So moving quicker and then making those smart plays, like Ken said, that's really important for games like that.
I feel like it helps bring the fire too a little bit. Like when you guys get onto the field and it starts to get a little bit like that, it kind of helps like fuel the energy a little bit, especially, in games where like maybe it's, it's tie break, it's 0-0 and nothing's happening.
Right.
You kind of help bring a little bit more of that like oomph that you guys need in order to push it through and get a win.
Yeah, absolutely. I think because people go in for like challenges and like tackles like harder because they're like, all right, I see what's going on. Like, I see how you're playing. Like, let's get eye to eye kind of vibe. And then that amps up like the bench because like we're just going in hard. We're starting to win stuff. You got to kind of play to that advantage. Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, once again, thank you so much for taking the time and good luck against LaGrange. It's going to be a fun game. I'm excited to watch it.
Thank you.